What's up everybody? Time for a new book review. This time we have Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland. This is a pretty interesting choice this time. Not sure if any of you have read this, maybe not because you're watching this video. The only reason I got this book, or I even learned about this book, because I haven't ever even heard about this book in all these years that I have been reading books. But I heard of this book because I was watching this guy on YouTube. I don't know if any of you, probably some of you know him, Iman Ganzi or Gachi, not really sure how to say his last name. Anyways, 5 million subscribers. Some of you surely know him because you probably follow channels like that because you like books and you are like success oriented and stuff like that. Anyhow, that was his recommendation to read this book. I was watching like some of his videos, maybe like 7 best books or something like that, or like 7 books you need for success or whatever. I forgot what, like the only 7 or 17 books or something. I think it was actually 17 he recommended. This was one of them, and it's a lot thicker book than I actually thought. So just a little overview of like, or just a quick review first of like what this book is like if you're about to order this, and then I'm gonna summarize some of the biggest takeaways, distinctions I made reading this book. But yeah, so I bought this because he recommended it, and yeah, the other books he recommended, I recognized a lot of them. This was a little bit of a strange one, and reading it also, it was a little bit strange, just to be to be frank, to be fair. First of all, just a few strange things about this book, which is the author Vadim Zeland is actually Russian, so this book is actually originally written in Russian, I figured. I tried to search online, like who is this guy Vadim Zeland, and like why he has the authority to even like talk about like success or whatever. I still don't have a really a lot. I still don't have a clue really who he is, other than Google says that he's a physicist. Yeah, that's all. And I searched YouTube, but there was just a few reviews of this book and then like one interview in Russian or something. So I don't know why he's the person to listen to on this. And but anyways, long book translated from Russian, so you will recognize that some of these sentences might be a little bit hard to comprehend or aren't really translated that well. They are also, there's a lot of typos, mistakes, so if that annoys you when reading, then maybe not the best recommendation for you. Then it tends to irritate me a little bit because I try to sometimes speed read a little bit, and then it kind of causes this regression of going back because you're like, wait, what did I read? Was it correct? And then it's just awfully long. There's one thing, but there is some good ideas I got from this book. It's pretty interesting, but just gonna say that it's really long. It says even parts 1 or steps 1 to 4, so it's kind of like a compilation. I don't know if there's like steps. Actually, step V is 5, so steps 1 to 5. I don't know if there's like steps 6, 7, but honestly, not really that interested in reading if there's like a whole order book which is steps 5 to 10 and then 10 to 15. But anyways, the first impressions of this book were like a little bit strange, as I said, because like it doesn't have anyone at all here like recommending the book. Like most books have the, what is called, praise for the book or whatever. There is no Bill Gates or Tony Robbins or anything recommending this book. But I read it all the way because it was recommended by this guy Iman. Because I started recently following his content, I decided, okay, this might be interesting because he recommended it in that video. And yeah, it's just from front to back, it's just text, and there's like no acknowledgements, no praise for the book, nothing like that there. But yeah, let's dive into it. Some of the takeaways, distinctions I made reading this, and like funny by the way, it's like a full electricity break here in Spain where I'm filming this, so the only thing I could do today is to just read this book, or I have a few other books to read. It's a great thing about being a reader, you have these books at least to read, but they shut the electricity is shut in Spain, Portugal, part of France. It's probably gonna be in the news. It's been multiple hours of no electricity here. And why I mention this also is it's a little bit strange because I was reading this book how it talks about like some events that happen. By the way, before I even go into this, like I'm not a big believer in this like law of attraction and blah blah blah, like these kind of mystical things that happen, or like you just think and then things happen. You just sit on the couch and then money will come to you in the mail because you just think about money or something something crazy like that, or you just think about the parking lot being empty when you drive to the grocery store, or you drive to the whatever amusement park and it's always busy, but you imagine that somebody's gonna drive out of the parking lot and there's gonna be a free parking lot for you so you can just drive there. This kind of stuff, like you probably read maybe, or you've heard of the law of attraction book and books like this. The strange thing or the funny thing about these to me a little bit is like these authors, they write about these things, but are they really like, other than being the author of the book and successful that way, but are they like actually, did they actually become successful in life before writing the book using those methods? Like this guy or Rhonda Byrne or whatever her name is who wrote that book. Even Napoleon Hill, I think I heard somewhere that he died very poor, like he died like almost bankrupt or something. Yet he wrote Think and Grow Rich. But anyways, not dissing this book completely, there's some good takeaways here. What I was going to say is like strangely enough, like it was talking here like sometimes thoughts like kind of materialize in the real world or in reality. Like I was just 2 days ago, I was thinking, go get some cash because something might happen someday here, that like there's gonna be a full electric break or something like that. And literally like two days ago, for like a few months, I actually didn't have any cash available. I was not taking any cash out. And then I just had suddenly this thought that I should get some cash, and then 2 days later, electricity is completely out. So yeah, good luck for me because I literally had not even €1 in cash. So I went to lift some cash, and now this happens. So interesting. Like sometimes you think about something and then it actually happens. Isn't it like kind of crazy? But anyways, yeah. Enough about that situation here. Let's talk about the book. So in the glossary he has some like of these terms that he uses a lot, so I'm gonna refer to here to kind of pick a few of the things that were really like resonating with me. It's a long book. It really took me a long time to read through this whole thing, so I don't even like remember everything. And to be fair, it's a little bit hard to comprehend also like what he's actually talking about here, and it gets a little bit boring, so my mind tends to be a little bit distracted sometimes when I read something that doesn't really like, because it's like the same thing over and over, I would say, just to be like giving an honest review. I'm not sure if any, I just noticed one author actually watched one of my book reviews, so I don't want to be too mean in these videos, because I obviously understand some authors actually check their own book reviews on this channel, but like yeah, just to be honest, like I find it a little bit boring at times, but interesting at the same time, some of these ideas. So yeah, the glossary, it starts with importance here, so but let's actually go in the order kind of like what the ideas that I got here. And I know that I'm rambling for a long time already in this video, so sorry for that. I'm actually gonna get to the ideas now. So the transurfing idea is kind of like there's these multiple infinite amounts of realities that could actually happen. Like when you really think about it, like the choices that you make, because you have the ability to actually choose what you're gonna do today, where you're gonna go, who you're gonna talk to, who you're gonna contact, who you're gonna call, message, what you're gonna do, what book you're gonna read, what podcast you're gonna listen to. These things, they shape your reality, whether you realize it or not. Like there's an infinite amount of possibilities for your life, actually, when you think about it. Like the decisions that you make today, tomorrow, at every moment, they actually are constantly shaping your life. This is very true when you think about things like achieving something. Like when you just simply make the right choices every day, you're gonna start moving forward to whatever goals or dreams you have. You're gonna start moving towards that because you're making those conscious choices. But most people kind of live on this in this like kind of matrix. They are like on autopilot. They don't really think about what they're doing. They're just going through the motions. They're just doing the same things every day repeatedly, and just passing time. They don't really realize the time is passing. They don't really realize what they're doing with their time, where it's taking them. But you actually have that ability to be conscious of what you choose in your life to become. So that's I think the single most biggest idea here, like that you're gonna really benefit from, is understanding that a little bit different choice, you're gonna transurf into this different lifeline. It's completely different lifeline. Think about it. Like think about, for example, your best friend. Let's say, maybe you met your best friend like somewhere. Like you decided to go to some, I don't know where people really meet their friends, but like you decided that you're gonna go to some restaurant, and you started to talk to the guy next to you or something. I remember I met a friend who I literally walked out of a bookstore, and then somebody just came to talk to me, asking for directions and stuff. Then we actually exchanged the numbers. He became like a really good friend. Not friends with him actually anymore. Like, I mean, technically I'm, but like I haven't been in contact with him for many years. But I was just thinking about that also. Like, I ended up traveling with him and everything, and like meeting people, for example. The decision that one day you decided to go to that restaurant or that bookstore or whatever, you're gonna meet that person. That's gonna really change the course of events, because you're gonna have, especially let's say like a relationship with a woman, for example, how much that's gonna change how your life is actually gonna be, because you stay with them like a few years or maybe even like longer, and maybe because of that you end up moving to a different country, or you whatever. Like it's crazy how things can kind of change, and like, or maybe that one person you meet who becomes your mentor, and that really changes how things go in your life. Just meeting that one mentor, or just meeting that, or even just like stumbling on one book that can really change your mindset. Like that was the most powerful thing, like being more conscious about like what I'm deciding, like what lifeline am I going to kind of be. Like that was really the intriguing part to me about this book. Like it says reality transurfing. Like I believe like some really successful people, they just live in a really different reality. They live in a different reality, and that's what actually piqued my curiosity. Like if this book can teach me kind of that, like being able to kind of transurf, like it term says, which he invented, I think, the transurfing, but just you can also say just shifting to a different reality, shifting to a different kind of, yeah, because it's actually, these are really deep thoughts, what reality even is, because reality is actually different for all of us. Like if you really think about it, not everybody, like I'm a little bit colorblind, like I cannot distinguish red and green that well. Like even little things like that. My dog cannot see reality similar to me, because dogs don't see red and green, I think, if I'm correct. So it's actually like, what is actually reality? Like deep thoughts. But then, yeah, importance. He talks about a lot about like this balanced forces. He talks about like if you put too much importance on something, there's inner and outer. Like the cocky person who thinks that they're so awesome or so important, that creates imbalance, and then people will dislike the person who is arrogant, and he will have like this event where he's gonna be like kind of slapped in the face, because there's imbalance, the balanced forces he talks about, and that this is what I believe also, like wholeheartedly, in like these balanced forces. Like if, like for example, the arrogant person, or then outer importance is where you just put too much importance on something. Like let's say you have a really nice cup for drinking tea. You really love that cup, you really value it. It was, maybe you bought it from another country and you cannot find it anywhere else, and you start to put a lot of importance on that cup. You know what I'm gonna say next. That cup is gonna be broken at some point, because you put too much importance. Kind of the balanced forces will kind of like, it's the bad luck happens. Like if you put too much importance on one person, you start to, like in romantic relationships, let's say you start to chase someone because you find them so attractive or something. This creates this imbalance, or excess potential, I think he calls it. You're just gonna repel that person. Or let's say you just put too much importance on becoming wealthy, and that will actually repel people, because you're just like, they can see like the money in your eyes, like just that whatever, like in the emoji, like you put it creates excess potential. Like if you want to become successful, don't actually put so much importance on wealth, and that's how you will probably become wealthier. If you just constantly like are too obsessed about it and you just are desperate and stuff like that, it's gonna create this excess potential. Then he also talks a lot about pendulums in this book, kind of these forces that are gonna try to pull you in. Like there's gonna be these cults, like be like us, belong to this religion, belong to this dietary cult, belong to this group of people and this political group, and this is gonna take you away from your ability to actually choose your own destiny, like I talked about earlier, because once you belong to that group, now you can only like think like that group, and then you're not gonna be that individual who's gonna be making those conscious choices about how their life is gonna end up. If you belong to these kind of pendulums or groups, you're gonna get that same energy, the same thoughts. You're gonna have to do the same things as them, and your life is not gonna be necessarily what you wanted it to be, because you don't have the freedom to choose. You need to become this kind of more of like an individual who has this freedom to choose. Not that you cannot have like any friends or anything like that, but like these pendulums, you have to think about them like this kind of energy. They suck your energy, and yeah. Then other things I think what I found fascinating is that he talks about visualization there, and goals, and like how you should actually, like how you're gonna achieve your goals. It's not by just willpower and like thinking about like how I'm gonna achieve my goals. You just make like an order, like you would in a restaurant. You would order you would order steak. That's how you're gonna achieve your goals. You kind of just place an order, and it's gonna happen. And this is a little bit like that kind of law of attraction stuff that I don't fully believe in. Of course, you need to do something, but I tend to like that idea of like you know what you want, you know your goal, but you're not too bothered about like how you're gonna accomplish it, like paralysis by overanalysis. So that's, I think, where people can go wrong, because they like overanalyze, like, oh, how am I gonna do this? What I need to do first? How am I gonna... You decide what you're gonna do, what's gonna be the plan, what's gonna be the goal, and you're not worried about how you're gonna achieve it. You just kind of place that order, and it's gonna start happening. But there is the reticular activating system. I do believe in that. I don't know, is that even proven by science or something, that we start to like kind of pay attention to the right things. Like when we set a clear goal, we're not gonna start like paying attention to the right things to actually start moving towards the goal, kind of subconsciously, unconsciously. And then I think one more thing that I think is worth mentioning is like the visualization. I think I like that advice that he said, like when you visualize things, like if let's say you have a dream house, as long as you visualize the house, like, okay, there's the house, I want this kind of house, but you're outside of the house, you're looking in, that doesn't really create like that kind of strong feeling, or like it doesn't move you closer to it, because you want to, and you need to visualize yourself inside the house. You need to be thinking, like when you're visualizing like your dream house, you want to visualize like literally like you're gonna wake up in the house, this is where I'm gonna live, this is where I'm gonna drink coffee, this is the view, and you're gonna really like make it real, and that will actually kind of start to move you to the correct lifeline to start going towards that direction. But as long as you're like looking in, it's the same as like a window shopper who wants to buy the bag but cannot afford it, or the person who doesn't have food and who just looks at the house where the people, the family are eating food. It's the same thing with a big goal you have. If you see yourself like outside of the house, then it's the wrong image. And yeah, those are, I think, the most important ideas I took from this. But again, like if you're not really into this kind of stuff, it's a really long book. But if you find this entertaining and interesting, then have a good read and enjoy it. And like it's good entertainment but it's not a quick read. For the ideas that you get from it, it's quite a long read. And then there's just a lot of this kind of like strange stuff that he talks about, like that I don't believe in at all. At some point I remember he mentioned something like you should not sleep with your head to the west or something, and then he just said like I don't actually fully understand how to explain this, but like that's what you should not do. Like I was wishing to have a little bit more explanation. Like, okay, so you just say things like that, like, okay, don't sleep with your head towards the west or whatever is gonna happen, and then there was no explanation why, or like, yeah, strange things, like, or he talks about like how if you go to the airplane and you're gonna be afraid of flying, that's gonna cause the plane crash or something, or it's a little bit weird stuff, I would say. And then in the end he was, I don't remember what he was, there was also some other thing. I think he said you need to only eat uncooked food, and then again he was like, we will explore this later, but then actually I don't remember that he would have actually mentioned later on why you should only eat raw food and weird stuff like that, because it will change your energy if you eat cooked food versus raw food or something like that. Anyways, still this is a book, if you find this kind of stuff interesting, order it, but if you really like, which I found interesting because he's a physicist, like I read Einstein's book a while ago and his belief is kind of opposite, but yeah, if you're into that kind of books, then that can be interesting. But I realized this video is becoming too long, so thanks for watching. If you watch this whole video, again, I don't have really anything else to do here without electricity and read books and make these videos if I have any video ideas, so, or if I finish these books. So thanks for watching, talk to you guys soon, like the video if this was helpful, and see you next time.